Hi, I'm Randall Heyman. Because of the coronavirus outbreak, I'm using my YouTube channel to make quick turnaround videos with mathematical questions and concepts that students are having trouble with. If you are a lecturer, tutor, high school or primary school teacher, or a student, and you'd like me to make a video, use the comments section below this video. There's more information about what I'm trying to achieve on my video, Corona Help Introduction, which you can see up here. Which is in my YouTube channel, which is here. So this is now, let's rub this bit out. I've already done one on part 1 of basis and dimension. So, and in part 1, I used these bottles of salad dressing to explain the idea, but now I want to talk about it in a more mathematically, more structured way. And we said that basis and dimension are dependent on two concepts, linear independence and spanning. So let's consider the Cartesian plane, and let's say that we're going to build up linear combinations of various points. So here's a point 1, 1. And I'm just going to draw it in this way, 1, 1. In vector notation. That's the representation of that point. Now, let's say I start taking multiples of this 1, 1. So I could have 1 times 1, 1. Well, that's just this point 1, 1. I could have 2. That's just the point 2, 2. I could have pi, which is 3.14159, etc. Well, that will just get me pi and pi. I could have up here negative 3.2 times 1, 1, and that would just give me negative 3.2 and negative 3.2. Now, if we look at all these possible points for every multiple, what you see is that all you do is you just get this line. Wow, that's thick, isn't it? Let's make that a bit thinner for future. Okay, so just using this one vector or 1.11, we're not getting the coverage, which I talked about before here. We want to be able to describe any point in the plane, and we can't do it just with 1, 1. Okay, so let's just now try adding another point to our set of points. I don't know why that's there. I can't seem to get rid of that. Okay, so now let's try 1, 1, and we're going to also add 1, 2, which is this point 1, 2 is up here. Now I would say now we can actually cater for any point on the plane. So let's say you say to me, what about the point 3, 5? How would you describe 3, 5 by adding up linear multiples of this? Well, it turns out that if we take 1 by 1, 1 plus 2 by 1, 2, we get 3, 5. Now, sure, I've shown you for 3, 5, but what about the point 10, 100? Okay, so let's have a think about that. I can't do that one in my head, but what we could do is we could say, okay, let's say I'm going to find a number A, and I'm going to multiply it by 1, 1. Whoops, let's do it down here. Don't know why it does that. If anyone knows, please let me know in the comment section. A, 1, 1 plus B times 1, 2. So I'm using linear combinations of these two, and I want to get 10, 100. So if we just multiply this, we've got A times 1, 1. Well, that will be A, whoops. That's going to be A plus B. This one down here is going to be B, 2B. Has to equal 10, 100. Now, if I add this up, essentially I get two simultaneous equations. And generally, when you've got two simultaneous equations and two unknowns, A and B, we can solve it. So I'm not going to solve that, but I think we can be satisfied that it can be solved. So using these 2 points here, we can describe any point we want on the number, on the Cartesian plane. We could do this point, this point, this point, whatever. So we've got the coverage. So this, if we make this a set, these two are a spanning set. And in fact, they're also linearly independent. But now let's say, okay, well, what happens if we have 3? Well, let's rub this out. And let's add another one. Say the one I had before, which was 3, 5. Now it's true that I can span the whole Cartesian plane here with combinations of this. I just showed you that I could do it before with just these two. So obviously I could just add 0 times this one. But now we're losing out on the efficiency up here. We're not linearly independent because this, if I'm going to add this, any bit of this, well, I can just make it up myself from some combination of these two. And similarly, if you wanted, you could say, well, if I use 3, 5 and 1, 2, well, then I can make up 1, 1 myself using a combination. So 3 is inefficient. So it's not linearly independent. And so we wouldn't call this a basis set. So if you remember before, we had 1, 1 and 1, 2. That has two properties. It was linearly independent and it was spanning. And so this is a basis set. And because there are two elements in the basis, we say the dimension equals 2. Now, you might be tempted to think, oh, well, any 2 would work here. So what's so hard there? But in fact, that's not the case. So if I put 2 down like this, if you work out all the combinations you can make here, for example, 5 times 1, 1 plus 2, 20 times 2, 2, what do you find you get? Well, you get 45, 45. So all you're getting here using these two is these points on this line here that I mentioned back here over here. So this extra 2, 2 adds nothing. It adds absolutely nothing. This is inefficient. And so it's not linearly independent. And because of that, this is not a basis set. So any basis will have 2 elements or 2 points or 2 vectors. But that doesn't mean that every set of 2 points will give you a basis. So I hope that's given you, part 1 and part 2 has given you an introduction to basis, dimension, linear independence and spanning. And if you've got any questions at all, anything to do with mathematics, please leave it down in the comments and I'll see what I can do.